Max, what are you doing with the Christmas tree? You know around here we don't celebrate Christmas, Max. Face me. I have a treat for you, Max. Now get rid of the Christmas tree. That's right, people! Not only did they go ahead and make a movie about your boy, the Grinch, your other boy, 3C Films also went all out and got Grinch-ified for this review. Check it out. Check it out. Yes? Oh, so smooth and sexy. Is that enough? Okay, let's get to this. This is a Grinch horror movie, y'all. Let's review this thing. But the Grinch horror movie parody in question, titled The Mean One, is directed by Steven LaMorte and stars David Howard Thornton, who some might know as Art the Clown, as our titular villain, the Mean One. And before I even dive into my thoughts with this utterly insane movie, one, I do want to thank makeup artist Janelle Jexar on Instagram, who gave me this beautiful look. Honestly, I think it's an improvement from my previous one. Not even kidding, I'm ready to start an OnlyFans in this costume. Who's buying?
Merry Christmas! Thank you for shopping for me. Wait a second! Don't forget to change!
I will link her socials in the bottom, so you may find her if you please to do your own Grinch makeup and do your own things with it. But the second thing we also got to discuss is this growing trend in Hollywood to turn childhood favorite characters into full blown out horror movies. The Grinch might have released today in most Regal cinemas, so if you're watching this the day I released the video, there's a chance you can go watch this movie near you, but it's certainly not going to be the last one, as we have Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey coming to theaters in February of next year. We also have a Bambi horror movie in the works. Peter Pan is going to get his own little horror treatment, and really any character from your childhood is up for grabs. I'm waiting for a dang Humpty Dumpty horror movie. They made two of them? There's two Humpty Dumpty horror movies? Yes, okay, I see. I'm gonna go make some popcorn, I'll be back. But I'd be lying to you guys if I didn't admit every time one of these movies was announced, there isn't a small part of me that gets a little excited and fascinated by the idea. Just the Grinch alone, I think, is perfectly built to become a horror icon. The boy is literally a green monster living by himself on top of a hill, wanting to steal Christmas from precious children. I think it was already a horror movie.
If you utter so much as one syllable, I'll hunt you down and gut you like a fish. You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand?
And now actually having sat down, put away an hour and 30 minutes of my day to hit play on a Grinch horror movie, I'm here to tell you, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Ashamed that you didn't make this sooner so I could find out quicker I didn't need to watch it.
How to take care of those pesky memories.
Now look, I actually want to be completely fair here because the director is actually a fan of mine and was even nice enough to give me an early screener to see this movie. Unfortunately, this Grinch's heart has not grown 3 sizes too big, but he is going to be honest about some of the things that actually worked in this movie. For one, I dug the premise that they went with here. Essentially what we got going on in The Mean One is Cindy Lou Who is actually renamed Sydney You-Know-Who. Clever, gotta get past those legal loopholes somehow, was just a kid on Christmas Day when she witnessed what she thought was Santa Claus leaving presents under the tree, only for the Mean One to then kill her mom right in front of her, bringing us to 20 years later where Sydney You-Know-Who and her father are returning to Newville, not Whoville, so they can sell their family home and just put an end to this entire tragedy. That premise right there, I think, is a great way to twist around the Grinch mythos and actually play into a little bit of the horror version of it. You're establishing familiar characters, even familiar plot points from the original cartoon and movie, not to mention major props for actually including a narrator in this movie. Throughout the film, you have a narrator that is not only rhyming, busting out fire lines from time to time as old Dr. Seuss would, but honestly goes into the vibe and makes you feel like you're actually watching some sort of messed up Dr. Seuss movie. While the acting and dialogue probably could have been improved on, I actually appreciated the relationship between the daughter and the father for as little as that lasted. I also even like how they played out which victims get chosen by the Grinch, and it's essentially turned this entire town into like a Christmas Footloose.
Wrong eye!
Nobody in Newville is putting up Christmas decorations, putting up a tree, singing Christmas carols, because if you so much as even wrap a present, put up a mistletoe, or make the mistake to leave cookies out for Santa, the Grinch will show up in 0.2 seconds. Another great way to play into the mythos and what the Grinch is all about. He hates Christmas, doesn't want to see any of it, and if he catches you celebrating, you's getting attacked. But the way you's getting attacked pissed this Grinch off. If you're gonna make a low budget movie, do what you can with the money, and I would say maybe don't waste that money or CGI blood. Then again, I've never even made a movie in my life, so who knows what the heck I'm talking about. Maybe CGI blood is the cheaper route to go with when making a movie like this. But I guess since David Howard Thornton was in here and was kind of my main draw to see this movie, it's one thing that it was a Grinch horror movie, but then you bring in the man who plays Art the Clown, arguably one of the most terrifying new horror icons, I was gonna take a seat and see what was going on. And in the Terrifier movies, you have some great practical effects in there with actual tangible blood that's probably corn syrup. Here, I'm telling you guys, whenever body parts start flying, when things go bump in the night, when someone starts getting axed off by the Grinch, you are thrown in the face with some PlayStation 1 CGI blood, and it just completely drew me out of this movie. Don't get me wrong, there's like 1 or 2 cool practical effect kills in here, but all the other kills are kind of done off screen or a little shaky cam and clunky, and literally PlayStation 1 blood thrown, like this right here. I am not kidding you when I say that's about the level of effects you're about to get in this movie. And I feel like as a horror fan, when you watch low budget movies, that's the one redeeming thing you can have in these kind of films, is if the kills are actually fun and enjoyable, the rest is whatever. I enjoyed my time watching this. And I do think there will be some who can totally enjoy this, because you're not meant to be taking this seriously. You're not supposed to be a Grinch like me and criticizing it like it's an actual work of art, because it's about my life. So of course it's a work of art, is it not? And I think if you sit around with your friends and go check this out, you're gonna get some pretty big laughs, because the movie at times takes itself pretty seriously. It develops this relationship between Sydney you-know-who and a cop, all the way to a raunchy shower sex dream. And I think some people even get a huge laugh at the fact that they're in the woods with CGI snow all around them when the setting is clearly a summer's day. I couldn't help but to look at that in the screen and go, I don't think it's winter, y'all. Another gripe I would have about the movie is I thought throughout the trailers they were saving a lot of the performance of David Howard Thornton as this mean one, the Grinch, or you're not supposed to say that because of legal reasons, okay? So don't even comment it. They'll come after me. But turns out what you kind of see in the trailers is about as much of the Grinch as you will see. He's very much a figure that runs in, runs out, and when he even does get screen time, he remains a silent figure, and that's worked wonders for him as Art the Clown. But as the mean one here, I kind of wanted a little bit more personality to shine out, or at least a couple verbal words. No offense at all to David Howard Thornton, but I felt any energetic person underneath that makeup could have replicated that performance, where I don't think the same could be said about Art the Clown. Here's where I want to kind of go into some of the spoilers of crazy things that happen in this movie since it's been released, and maybe some of you guys want to talk spoilers about the movie. If you don't want to know spoilers because you definitely want to see it yourself, skip to this timestamp in the video where I give you my final thoughts. But okay, some of the funny things that this movie did where I was like, oh, You's clever, huh? They throw in some Dr. Seuss Easter eggs because this movie is being made through the legal loophole of parody. Dr. Seuss stuff is not in the public domain. They play a lot with that in the movie where someone is about to call the character the Grinch, but because they legally can't say that, another character off the side yells out, Mr. Finch! Order for Mike Finch! Right at the precise moment someone was about to say the words Grinch. I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. Then you have a character in here that is named Zeus, kind of like the Greek god Zeus, and I was like, okay, that's really random. Why are they pointing out that this guy's named after a Greek god Zeus? And then they drop the ball and say, this guy Zeus is also a doctor. Put those two words together now. Dr. Zeus. Dr. Seuss. Brilliant! I cannot think of the big brain willpower it took to mention that on screen and get away with it. They are basically laughing at you, Dr. Seuss Estate. and they're getting away with it. Also, I definitely have to talk about the way the Grinch dies in this movie. So one thing I felt that was maybe a little sweet that they did throughout the movie is you find out the Grinch at the beginning of the movie accidentally killed Cindy You-Know-Who's mom. He didn't actually mean to do that. It looks like he was just in her house either dropping off presents, maybe fixing a light on her tree, something. Then when the mom saw this ugly green monster, she panicked, tried fighting him, and the Grinch in self-defense ended up accidentally killing her. And then once that happened, he grew the reputation of being a monster, everybody hating him. So then the Grinch just played into that persona and actually became a monster throughout all these years, making sure Christmas wouldn't happen in Newville. So then by the end of the movie, Cindy You-Know-Who realizes she needs to forgive the Grinch. She needs to realize it was an accident. He's not a monster. He just appears to be one, where she leans in and kisses the Grinch on his rosy green cheeks, and well, just like in the story, the Grinch's heart grows 3 sizes too big and explodes, thus killing the Grinch. And you know what? As ridiculous and as insane as this movie was, I thought that was clever. I actually really liked that. I've always thought that as a kid. It's like, no, your heart can't just grow 3 sizes too big and you be okay. You can't live through that. Doctors have to be on my side on this. So to finally see in a horror parody, they play into that it's like, fine, his heart's gonna grow, but it's gonna explode. And that's the way you kill the Grinch in this movie? Movie of the year right here. All is to say, guys, you knew what you were getting into when you saw the trailer, okay? We knew this wasn't going to be Oscar bait or even going to be the next best movie or one that you put on your rotation every year, but it was an excuse to see what it would look like if the Grinch was turned into a horror icon. And while maybe this hasn't sold me on the idea and I'd be really iffy to see a sequel, I still applaud them for taking the wild stab at it because someone was bound to do it, and now we have it here to examine for all eternity. So I say go watch this Grinch horror movie at your own risk if you're genuinely interested, but if that trailer gave you a sense that I don't think I'll enjoy this, you got your answer right there, man. Leave me your guys' thoughts if you're someone who checked out The Mean One in theaters or on VOD, which I believe it's on already. This will be the first of many to come, so hopefully they just get better from here, or if not, just a lot worse, but a lot more enjoyable at the same time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films, but as always, your boy The Mean One, your Chris, checking out.